most people have still got my operating cash flow model, yeah? Do you remember earlier this morning, I said something around the amount of points, and I just sort of said 1, 2, 3, 4. You remember me going through that? Okay, and given that they're kind of the key parts to cash flow, there's a couple of subsections in there, but effectively there's about 9 key parts. Yeah, 9. You might want to write that down. Let me just ask you a question. Who's read my book? Where's My Cash Gone? Up here. Okay, good. If you don't have a copy of that, you probably should get one. Guess how many? Just have a wild guess how many chapters are in that book? 9. You get me? You feeling it? Okay, good. So where we started in that last session was to look at kind of, what percentage of business owner I am. And I asked you, we're an investor, or we're an owner, we're a technician, a creator, or an artist, okay? And then we went off and started talking about revenue and the sweet spot around revenue. So I'm going to stay on revenue for a little bit longer. We're going to finish today on revenue. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to do some other parts to this top section up here as it relates to team and culture, okay, and some other parts that I want to cover off tomorrow. But to finish today, what I'd like you to do is just to sort of draw a little asterisk beside 2 parts there. Firstly, frequency. You see that one there where it says frequency? And number of customers. Everyone got that? Okay, good. So frequency and number of customers. So we're going to start off with frequency. What area are we going to start, you guys? Frequency. And it's funny, over all the time I've been doing this, I've been sort of doing this for, going on about 15 years of advising people in business and what have you, that, a lot of people spend a huge amount of their life trying to get new customers. It's lead generation and marketing, and we spend a huge amount on new. Raise your hand if that's been you. There's been a big focus in your business to grab new customers. Please raise up nice and high. So as you can see, a lot of the room, we're going to do that before we finish today. Okay, but the interesting thing is, for a business that has got some form of establishment, meaning it's been going a little while, okay, is that they still have, it's kind of like being addicted to new, right? Rather than keeping the existing. And I think, what people do is they get kind of in a trance. I'm going to get you to write that down. What did I just say? They get in a trance on new. And it's almost like we kind of get off on getting new customers. So, a lot of our mindset then is, I got to get new and I got to do marketing. And oh my God, we got this social media thing and marketing and I got to go to this event and networking and alliances and, okay, and we kind of get in a trance. And sometimes I think if people then just flipped the question and said, if we did a better job at keeping our existing customers, would we make more money? And the answer for most people is, yeah, I would. So I'm going to kick you off with a question. It's one that I've said in this room before. So this is for the oldies. As soon as you see this flip chart, you'll go, potentially, if you're in I know, oh God, he's done that one again. All right, and that's okay. Okay, and it says this. If I still had every customer that ever tried me, how big would my business be? And, a guy called Keith Cunningham, who's my coach, taught me this, or asked this question of me many years ago. And when he did it across the different businesses that we do, I just went, oh, gee, ouch, ouch. It kind of pinched because it was like, whew, I got to do a better job at keeping rather than this obsession that, sometimes I had with getting new. So This section's about frequency. It's about retention of what we've got. And the cool thing is that a lot of people in this room know and have worked this muscle in their brain as a business owner. And it doesn't matter whether you build houses and your customer is only going to come X amount of years, or whether you're in a very high repeat business where they're coming back. This part of today is hugely important about client retention. Who'd agree with me on that? Say yeah. Okay. And even if, I'm looking at a few of my builder clients or people that have got a very long, frequency, most people don't get houses built, every 5 seconds, is that even those type of businesses, by doing a better job on repeat and nurturing, can you get more referrals? Yes or no? Yeah, you can. Okay. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to give you guys some work to do. That's what great coaches do, by the way. Everyone turn to, in there, there's some pages that are upended. Could you find those now, called Cash Register? What's it called, everyone? Cash Register. Ding, ding. So, to start with, what we're going to do is have a shot at question number 1, which is on this board, around just actually calculating the cost. So I'm going to ask for you to do your best. Some people may have already done this. Some people may have already cried on this particular stat. Some people might already be in counselling of some description on this first one, and I'm okay with that. Okay? So you're going to do question 1 just by yourself. Right, like I know I've now split everyone up and team members might be looking over to go, well, I don't know this, but you're going to have your best bet in terms of your business. Now, you pick the time frame. It could be 6 months, could be a year. Some people are in a kind of a startup mode, so maybe this is more for you in the future, not so much for you right now. Okay, in terms of how much money you've pissed away in your business by not doing a good job on keeping. Okay, so that's going to be the first question we're going to ask. I need to get a kind of a starting point. Does everyone know what we're doing? Okay, good. If you are stuck on this one and you're sitting there scratching your head, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be vulnerable. Yeah, we're going to drop the mask. Remember that from Johari Window this morning? We're going to drop the mask and go, I don't know what to do. And someone on your table is going to do what? They're going to give you a bit of coaching. Okay? Everyone know what we're doing? So this will be about 3 minutes. How much money have you left on the table in a certain period? You choose that across your business if you've done a better job at keeping. 3 minutes. Let's go. By yourself. Okay, a couple of hands in the air. How much money you left on the table? Yes, ma'am. So I'll put that there on that one. So it was good. Like sometimes I'll jam someone straight to go to the microphone unless there's like a blinding flash to the obvious that's just happened in someone. That was just one of them, right? This kind of hand came up halfway through it because something obviously went kadunk. Is that what happened? Because it felt like this. It was this magical hand. Like it was like hula. We found someone, right? So what you just said was more of a solution-based, is not so much actually working out the number, is you got quite solution-based is, hey, I'm going back to calculate what I'm going to do, and now I know how to calculate it. How are you going to calculate it? Nice, and they'll tell Craig.
I'm going to work out who has used, since we purchased the business in February, who's used us, how many times, what kind of revenue we've generated, but also, and maybe even more importantly, who has not used us.
There you go. Did you hear that? So who has and who hasn't used us, all right? So Leanne got straight off the optic and said, right, I'm going to work that out sort of by doing a solution based on that. So I'm happy that that kind of did a kadunk there. Sounds like you paid for your trip. Give her a hand, everyone. What are some other numbers? Give us a couple of numbers here. Yes, sir. How many? Net or revenue? Yeah, so a bit over 3 mil, 500,000 between friends. A lot of money. Okay, good. Some other numbers. Yes, sir.
On the TV business, 12.7 million a year.
Holy, look out. So if we go, I feel like I want to, send some gold to those people or do something. I don't know. Working on it, righto. What's some other ones? Yes, Smithy, what have you pissed away?
30 million plus.
30 million over how many years? 30 years, right? $1 million a year. Susie, don't do it. This is going to hurt. Go. All right, so some big ass numbers. Okay, so, you just think about that. I mean, the problem is because we get into that whole thing around finding new, what was it I called it? It was a trance, right? We're so damn important about finding new that we forget to do existing, okay? So now we've got a starting point. Has anyone not got a starting point for the people that do own a business or have got some lift off? Okay, good. Righto, so this is what we're going to do, is I'm going to get everyone to pick up your cash register sheet, please, and I'm going to get you to look at question 5 for me, right? Question 5, I'll read it out. Has everyone got it? Here it is. What can I do to ask for more customer feedback? Coaching, how can I get my feedback faster? Okay, the first part there is to ask. Okay, and listen, all right? It's funny that a lot of these things are all going back to this whole red dot on my head thing again, all right? If I don't ask my customer base what they need and how I can serve them better, can I ever then see the blind spot? Yes or no? No, I can't. So question 5, is you guys are going to work out 2 to 3 strategies with a partner in a minute. I'm going to go through that, of how you could survey your customers better. Okay, so you're going to work out a process for you to then go and engage with past customers to say, hey, it's me again. What can I do better? Give me some coaching. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, good. Everyone stand up. Grab your sheet of paper and a pen. Everyone put their hand in the air. You're going to choose your partner on 3. You're going to point to them. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Hang on. You got your partners. Wait on. Okay. Guys, listen, please. You're going to go to all extremities of the room. Please stay in the room. Point to your A and your B's now. Go. A. B's are going to go. Listen, B's are going to go first. You're going to go for, listen, you're going to go for 3 minutes just on B alone. Okay, A, you are not allowed to have a go yet. I'm going to switch, I'm going to call it, and you're going to change sides, right? So you may end up getting 6 ways or 7 ways of how to survey B's business, yes? Hello? Yeah. Then I'm going to swap you, and then A's get to go, but do not change until I say. Everyone okay with that? Okay, you got 4 minutes with B's. Let's go. Okay. Give A a high five and say, I love the cash in your wallet. Have a seat. Thank you. So, people that have not been up to the microphone, here's your chance. I'd need 2 on this, 2 on that. Let's go. If you haven't been up today, Simon, Maria, I don't think I've seen you. Yes, sir. Hello, who are you, sir?
I'm Adam. I'm from Mudgee. I've a kitchen building business and a carpet and flooring business.
Thank you. What did you come up with? Was this on you or who was your partner?
This is my one.
Right.
So my biggest customer obviously is builders, and I have before sat down with them and got them to score my business and different areas of my business to get feedback. We had a little bit of a moment when she asked how long I had my business for. That one was 12 years and I've done it once, so I'm probably due to do it again.
Probably?
Yeah, I'm definitely due
Thank you.
to do it
All
again.
right.
So that's probably the biggest one, and actually sitting down with them, putting them face to face and getting some positive feedback. I know just in the last sort of 6 months, I know of about 6 jobs that I've missed to another competitor that are builders of mine that I do quite a bit of work for, and that works out to be sort of about 80 grand just in the 6 that I know of. So
That's great. And just before we give Adam a hand, so I mean, a couple of real gems in that. I mean, once in 12 years, I think what I take from that was what drove that when you did do it. Was that more of an ad hoc at that time, or?
At that time, it was a bit more of an ad hoc. Now, I probably need to increase my leads, so it's a bit more of a necessity now, especially with the carpet shop, trying to grow the leads and increase the turnover. It's probably more of a necessity.
Yeah, so just what's your phraseology there, Adam? Notice you've said 2 words in the last minute.
Probably, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so
Definitely.
just remove that out. I mean,
Sure.
Just write this one down, everyone. Words shape our experience. Words shape our experience. So if I say, look, I'm going to try to run 5Ks this afternoon, or I'm going to try to get up in the morning, or, I'll probably get to that next week. Who? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so, yep, it is going to be... And I think your point is really valid. Thank you for being vulnerable. Also on the microphone there, is making it a ritual and making sure it's calendarized. Would that be a good idea? Is to say, okay, every 120 days, every 6 months, every year, whatever that looks like, whatever going to suit your best business. Could be every customer. In something like. Adam's business, whereby really you've actually got kind of 2 customers. You got the builder, and then you've got the end user who's actually buying the kitchen or the carpet, etc. Could you do 2 forms of survey? And the answer is, yeah, you could. All right, you could do Mrs. and Mrs. Jones, and you could do Builder Bob. Okay, so I think there's 2 parts to that, as well as making sure it's an ongoing process. It's really good. Give them a hand, everyone. Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Maria. I've got a naturopathic business in Adelaide. And I happen to pair up with Mary, who's in the same industry.
Isn't that interesting?
So that was really good. And so we came up with some good ideas. We talked about giving some sort of loyalty if they're referring other customers. Also a birthday gift. I know that's probably been done before, but we don't do it in our industry very much.
Yep.
And maybe giving away ebooks and information on health. What else did we come up with? Oh, and zoning in on... So for me, I thought of all my clients that are boxed up in files that I haven't seen for a long, long time.
How many boxes have you got?
A lot.
How many is a lot?
Probably about 10 boxes.
How many would be in per box?
Maybe 40.
Each
files.
box?
Yeah.
So you got 400 files?
Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to service them before I started employing the naturopaths anyway.
So you got some leverage now?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that's really good. I need to dig them out now that I've got.
So our last coaching session, Maria, where I was in the same trance. I was getting juiced up, and Maria, we can do this Facebook thing, and we can get them all to a seminar. I didn't know about the box. I didn't ask the question. So maybe we need to go and do more, and let's go and love those guys and put all that other stuff on hold.
Yeah, someone needs to go downstairs though.
All right, Peter. Thank you. Give her a hand, everyone. Well done. Thank you. So there was one other point there. You just reminded me, Maria. It was funny talking with Jamie this morning about his Guinness Book of Records. Do you know who is the Guinness Book, or was the Guinness Book of Records for the most amount of cars sold by a car salesman? Who owns that title? So he had it for years, right, in America. Does anyone know his name? I really, team, can you tell me that sometime? I keep using this story and I always forget his name. Yeah, well, it might have been Ford, but nonetheless, there's a guy over in America, right? This is in the 80s. Now, his one strategy, right, is he really got this flip chart, right, around being how big would my business be if I had all that. So what every time he sold a car, what he used to do was to write down on a piece of paper the birthdays of the people he was buying with, selling the car to. And also their siblings. So if they had 3 kids, guess what? Little Johnny and Charlie and whatever got their names written down and their birth dates. And every week, his number one strategy is he would write. Obviously, he didn't have many to write in the early days of his career. He'd write a happy birthday note to the people and saying, sign whatever his name is at Ford, right? Wish you luck, and over the years went by. His database was so big that it took him like 1 or 2 days a week to write out the birthday cards, right? So he ended up having this system of where he'd give out like about 10,000, and the guy just grew. So it was just referral based the whole time. Oh, you need a car, you should go and see Bob, right? He was impregnated in their brain. True story. Like if you go and do a Google, don't do it in the room. But there you go. So, maybe that might be a bad strategy and maybe it's a really good one, all right? I think, it was funny. I used many years ago a finance broker on a deal I was doing, and we actually didn't end up doing the work with him, and he still sends me a text on the wrong day for my birthday. And it's like I'm on the 4th of March, and like about the 20th of March I get this thing, and so he's over-systemised that sucker. I just didn't want to, I haven't told him that that's the case, but anyhow, so that's what I just told you means nothing really of what I was just talking about. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. What's your name?
Well, I think you've been calling me Chuck Norris, but my name's Ashton Wood.
Okay, Chuck.
So we came up with some good things over here. It was all about servicing our customers and listening to them. I've noticed in my business, the business has changed quite a bit in the last 2 years. So customers I had in the past, I couldn't have serviced them the way we do now that I've got people working with me and in the business. So that's changed the approach I take now and going back to them. The other big thing is asking them what else they need. Because quite often I'd go in there and give them the solution, but not ask what else we could do for them,
okay.
Or how can we do things differently. We also identified for the retail industry there about using different survey systems where people can either be online and give their feedback, or forms where they can tick the box, make it quite easy for them. But the reward for that was for them to win prizes, wasn't it? It was to try to entice them to give some feedback rather than just the comments of fantastic, love it, well done. Let's find out a bit more.
That's great. Lovely points. Thank you on both partners there. Give them a hand, everyone. Thank you. Ashton, Chuck now is going to stay with you for the rest of the coaching history. Simon, have you got a point?
Not really. No,
okay.
Of course I do.
I mean, if you want to talk about your car, we can do that. But
I think a lot of survey and feedback, a lot of the time the questions you want to ask are ones that you're going to get good feedback on. I think it's trying to ask the right question that's going to get you not necessarily the good feedback that you want. And often we can start sort of crafting it around what we want to hear rather than what we don't. So I think that's fairly important. And as for reconnecting with customers that haven't come back to you, it's finding out who they are, and asking what it would take for them to come back. And if we actually change that, would they continue using us? Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Give him a hand. Well done. So I think Simon's point there is really valid around the question. I mean, one of the best questions I like to ask is this. around finding the curly one that they don't. Is that if there was just one improvement we could make, what would that be? That's always a good question, I find. All right. I use the same question, Simon, when I'm doing reference checks. So my history on reference checking is when you ring someone who the person who's waiting to be employed, clearly they have given someone that's going to give them a good reference check. So the problem is for those guys, they're also, or girls, are going to be in a trance on the thing, right? So that's a really good style of question, just to say, look, the positioning on that is, look, I've never met one human being that hasn't got some constraints or downside. There's not one on the planet, you or me, Bob or Mary down the phone. So on the person who's about to become our employee, what would be just one little thing that these guys need to improve on? Okay, and that then just opens up a chasm, because then you can drive down that one. Okay, who's ever done that, where you've done a reference check and it was kind of good, and you put down the phone, in actual fact you went, well, actually there's no improvements this human needs to make. Anyone ever done that? Okay, there's a few people, right? There's a problem with that. So that question you can use on obviously surveying customers, but also new team. Okay? So I think myself that in terms of retention and frequency, making sure that we don't set them up for a bad experience is probably good before we go and try to... I'm happy to go and dig out the 10 boxes and then go back and do that, but in terms of correction here today, wouldn't it be good if we didn't actually piss them off in the first place? Who thinks that's a great idea? Okay, good. So I want you to write down this one. Please read it out. What's it saying here? What's it saying? Client onboarding. So whether you call them customers or clients or however you do that, jobs, some, for a lot of my construction trade style thing, but they'll call it jobs. But in terms of onboarding a client, a customer, has your business got a process, a flow chart? Is there a system of what happens after they give you the go-ahead? So once they say yes, what then starts to click into gear? Is there an automated process that starts? Is there a machine? What did I just say, everyone? Does a machine start? Now, when I say machine, because I use that word, some people will go to, well, that's kind of this automated, non-feeling, emotive-based type of maneuver. Am I really saying that? Yes or no? No, what am I saying? I want more emotion. But can you have that as part of a process? Can that be part of a system? And the answer is definitely, yeah, it is. So what's your process? So if I came and was a customer, what would happen after the get-go? What would be the touch points? What would be some of the communication styles that I would see by using you? For the people that are looking to buy a business, I got a few of those guys in the room. Okay, good. Are those in any of the customers that we're going to buy? This is a huge part of when we buy businesses. You can turn them around very quickly, because most people on client onboarding, when you go and buy a business, what are they doing? Are they doing any of that? Yes or no? No, most people are pretty crap at this. So client onboarding, systemizing, flow charting. Round your table, I'd like you to come up with 2 or 3 really, really good strategies of how to do that. That could be, some of the people here that I've cracked over the head with this one heaps of the time, redoing this and saying, hey, Bruce has tricked mine out, now I've got 84 million steps and this is what we do. Or it could be some other people going, hey, this is what I would like to do. Okay, does that make sense? Yes. Hello? Okay, good. So round your table, client onboarding, how does that look? Come up with 2 or 3 different items on your table. Start with the person who's going to drink the most amount of alcohol tonight. Let's go. Okay, so guys, I'd like one person either side on someone who's done a lot of work in this. One either side, and then one either side here with the microphone of someone who needs to do more in this. Guys, up we get. I'll start calling out people. Let's go. If you've done a lot of work in this, grab on the microphone. If you've got more work to do, jump up as well. Well, that'll be easy. Thank you. Becky? Who's going to, Steve, thank you for volunteering. Matt? Okay, Ange, you can go first. Who are you?
I'm Ange. I have, with Matt, the Lab Cycling Cafe. We're a startup, we're 6 months. So just imagine we're a cafe, but also road bikes, cycling and a workshop. So we have workshops. We've got a team culture of that everyone works in that shop is an athlete. They've got very high achievements. So we actually have created, which I've just discovered with the team here, we have the story of like our chef is just an Ironman.
Right.
So I couldn't believe it. Everyone, all our customers were following her.
Okay.
And they're all coming in and they're all congratulating her. And the same as Matt. They're he races every week. So they're all following him. So it's bringing them that loyalty.
Yeah, so essentially what the answer here on this one is, as part of the onboarding, is you're kind of planting, if you want to call that, rock star people as part of that.
They're living their dream through these guys.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
So they're getting high from their success.
That's good. As long as they buy a bike every time they have a cappuccino, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I can
all right?
make them pretend they're Matt.
So what are the steps that need to get more tighter? What do you need to do on onboarding as process to make them stickier?
As a guy said, I need more visual too. I need to actually have a story. So I need like a blog. I think I need to put it out more in the social media. We're not actually exercising. It's a muscle. We're not exercising that muscle. I'm not using that to my full capacity.
Okay, so how often are you contacting your clients right now?
We're not. We're social media. We're putting out Instagram posts on what we have, like coffee and experiences, but to actually create the culture, we're not.
How many of your Instagram followers or Facebook followers, etc., are clients versus the new people? What's the ratio?
That's a very good point. I would say only 20% would be our clients.
Okay.
Where the rest are just following us because of these guys.
So my point there is that means if that is true, is 80% you're kind of getting on that trance on you when all these dudes are using you for their food, from tradies that are around the corner to dudes that want to eat, etc., etc. So
that's right.
The question here then would...
I need to get that 80% that are following us just as a follower. I need them to get into the store.
Now, is that new or existing?
Well, they're new people because they've just gone on us because, what's this? This is interesting. But now I need to get them into that store. We might be interesting on social media, but I need to get them into the store now. So it's a big thing. Everyone thinks that having followers, you're very successful. But you can have so many followers and they're not coming into your store. So it's a big thing.
So I'm going to ask that again.
Yeah.
The 80% is new, is that correct?
The 80% on the Instagram, yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So I'm okay to do that and move that muscle, and we haven't given any contact to the dudes that have bought much from us, right? So all I'm saying, notice, are you feeling a bit trancy?
Yeah, I just discovered that.
But even talking to me, I'm feeling she still wants to back over here. It's like, where's my drug? Over here. I want to get on that thing, right? I'm saying there's a big pot of gold right here.
Yeah.
Like, you tonight, I need you and Maria to have a wine together and say we have effectively both got 10 boxes of friggin' files.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Okay, give her a hand. Well done.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Who are you?
Matt Wynn, Wynn's Coaches in Victoria. We've got a lot of work to do in this regard, Bruce. We don't do any formal onboarding. The phone rings. We've started doing a little bit of, where did you first hear about us sort of stuff. But, we've been in business for nearly 40 years. So, to be saying I haven't done any of this, yeah, I've got a lot of work to do.
Well, like in the room, I can't think of any other. Matt's business is amazing because his father and his mother decided that to drive school kids to school for the government, right? And the cool thing about doing that is the government gave you how many year contract?
They started off, you know, when Dad first bought them in 79, they used to run for about 20 years.
Imagine this, you go out and sign a deal and you go, all right, we got that thing for 20 years. All right, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not as easy now because
So-
now the government are going,
Well, even his charter work back in the day, Gippsland's a fairly big area, you know, like probably a 500 kilometre radius.
Yep.
He had the only charter licence in most of Gippsland as well. So the work, it just came in it was Yellow Pages Day. So people would look up the Yellow Pages
Yep.
and ring.
Yep.
We're still fairly unknown in our nearby towns, even though we've been there all that time. That's what we're starting to realise.
Great.
now.
So, I mean, you've got no doubt a bunch of boxes, to use Maria's analogy. She'll be sick of me saying that after 2 days. But, you've got your own version of that we need to get out and do some recontact to, by the sound of that. Is that right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay.
So
When's that going to happen?
It's got to happen soon. Website, like we've got a lot of things going on. They can't even get our number at the moment, they might be able to by now, the website has been something that we've been doing this year, and
Okay.
we dropped our online Yellow Pages off.
Right.
And I think the phone calls dropped off pretty well straight away. So
And you know that because of why?
we have been measuring the leads recently, so we can see it there.
Yep. Great. Well done. So, look, I'm good with that. I think you got an amazing opportunity in both sides. For me, if I had a business that was been going 40 years, is there a great story in that? Yes or no? Yes. Is there a great story that we've actually... How many accidents have you had in that time?
Dad had a fairly big one where a drink driver took the side out of him. He tried to
But
get
hang
off.
on, was that in the bus or him personally in a car?
No, we had the one in the car, but he also had one in the bus.
Okay, all right. I was hoping you'd say I had a Qantas record there, but... all right.
What was that,
Well,
Bruce?
don't bring that one up in your marketing mix.
Not many.
Not many people died, or...
No, he was on his own.
So, Matt, I don't know how to come back after all that. Let's just give him a hand. All right, Rebecca?
I'm Beck, Adrian Ramsey Design House, and we're one of those businesses that has fewer clients for a long period of time, like the construction and building people in the room. And so onboarding is actually really important because it's a bit late to ask them for feedback at the end of a 3 or 6 or 12 month relationship.
Yep.
You can't fix it, you can't give them another cup of coffee. And so I've been working on a welcome pack and got some good distinctions around that today. But one of the things I think is really important is to check in with them. How do they want to be communicated with? Because we need to do that. We already have them. Certain clients will say, "Don't call, don't email, just text me, or don't
Yeah.
call me, just email me, or whatever that might be." And it's important to know that, and we can do that.
What a great
So,
point.
yeah,
Everyone
really
got that?
upskilling.
What's the mode of communication? There's a bunch of gold in what she just said. Well done.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, there you go.
So there's a requirement. So part of that sort of what we've been developing is introducing them to what the process is going to entail. So in this process, we're going to have 3 meetings. They're going to be 3 to 4 weeks apart, and actually set that up at the beginning because we've found that it's been otherwise a bit confusing. And then they're like, "We haven't heard from you for 3 weeks. What's happening?" Whereas that could be quite normal to us. So you're being more open and transparent about what the process is, and that also will hold Adrian accountable to actually do that as well. So.
Becky, come back when you... Not a rebuttal, but... So isn't it interesting, the more we go into the depth in this, sometimes on this part of it, the devil's in the detail. Who noticed that? Just even a simple, are you a text person, are you an email person, etc. And I also love James' question across there to Becky, which was, what's my frequency? So structure on this is hugely important, okay? I also think that I want to just ask, can you preemptively do a wow moment? And in your business, what is the wow moment? So, round your table, something where your customer goes, just do that with me. Geez, that's pretty good. I like that. Okay, that's a wow moment right there whenever someone does that. Okay, so round your tables, how do you in your business, as part of your client onboarding process, how can you do a wow moment? How can you kind of seed that in up front before you get going? Start with the person who, hang on. Start with the person who is the sweetheart of your table. Let's go. Okay, come back. What were some points that you got out of that one? What's some wow moments that you can seed in ahead of time? Yes, sir.
Set the expectation. Let's say the expectation was set at 50, but you're going to deliver it at 80 or 100. So everyone goes, wow, that's cool. Thanks for onboarding me, and that sounds great. That's the agreement. And then you go in and smash the expectation. A bit like a Zappos story.
Yeah. It's so good, and thanks for mentioning the example too. So let's give Andrew a hand on that one, guys. Well done. So Zappos, however you pronounce it. Who knows that? Online shoes in America. If you ever get to Vegas, these guys do tours of their company, and they're famed for many things. Probably they don't get a lot of kudos for the example that Andrew just mentioned. They get it actually more for their culture, their team and culture. People go there normally to see these. So it was two brothers started this online shoes. Literally get in shoes. They don't manufacture a thing, and they just distributing business in Vegas. And essentially they grew it literally from their bedroom. 12 years, sold it to Amazon for $1 billion. Okay, not a bad result. Now, what happened? They did a lot of things right, but one of the things they did right was exactly around. Thank you for also going to my next flip chart, Andrew, which is all about what, everyone? Setting what, you guys? Setting expectations for the customer. Okay, so what Andrew just said is what Zappos did. So what those guys did is they knew they could get from someone clicking and placing an order for shoes, they could get their order to them within 24 hours anywhere in America. What they basically said to someone when they did that is, hey, thanks for ordering your shoes. We're going to get that and set to you in 72 hours. They knew they could get ahead of time, and in the box and in the paperwork when they got their shoes, they said, hey, the message was from Zappos, hey, thanks so much for buying some shoes. We pulled some strings and we got this here in 24 hours, not 72. Hope you don't mind. Okay, so most people then went, wow, that's awesome. I love that, right? And so they did many other things, but it's a great point of giving the expectation of this and then going over and above. So what are you doing on that in your business? Can you use something like that with some positioning either verbally or, in terms of like an automated system like Zappos? Okay, a lot of power in that. What are some other quick wow moments that you can impregnate into your system? Yes, sir. Gift with purchase, not expecting it, okay? So notice here that the two examples we've said are based on a surprise factor. The customer did not expect it, okay? So if you can put something in your business where someone does not expect it, okay, they think you're going the extra mile, which a lot of the time, you are. But it's that surprise factor, yes? Okay, good. One more. Someone, Lucy, what did you come up with over there? Nice and loud. You got to tell all these guys down. Tell Nick. Raise your hand, Nick. Tell him. Nice and loud. This will be interesting. He's down there, right from the bows. So at the next board, I'm going to ask you that. But what a great way. Give her a hand, by the way. Well done. So that's great. And in actual fact, that if you think about that strategy of wowing them at the front end, right, that's more of, initially it's actually a conversion rate strategy is what we just heard. But because we did that then flows through the onboarding process given that they use them. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, good. Love that. The other part that I want you to write down, please, here is when I actually wrote this flip chart, I actually wasn't writing it for going above their expectations. The reason I'm happy I've brought this to my attention is do we or do we not do a good job of actually setting the customer's expectations? Okay, so that when we start with a new client, a new job, is that there's some form of positioning, be it in an automated way, be it a verbal, for the people that are in a retail business, or be it in, hey, I've got to work with you for the next X amount of time. We're going to do some positioning now to make sure that our engagement and relationship's going to be fruitful. So that is a huge part of where people get wrong or get their process wrong, is they do a bad job of setting up the expectations of the client. All right, so then there's a perceived way that we're going to do this, only to find out that that is not the case. Who's ever had that where you've signed up, they didn't communicate, you thought there was going to be something else, and then then you got pissed off as the customer, and I thought I was going to get this, but you never explained that. Who's ever had that? Okay, good. We could have sorted all that out if we'd set what, you guys? So how good do you do it? Does it happen every single time? Or does it just happen sometimes? So, round your table, I want you to talk about some good examples of how you do it or how you should set the expectation better, and how you can then seed more either stickiness, ongoing frequency with the client, or just even a happy experience for that buying experience just then. Everyone cool with that? Okay, good. So start on your table with the person with the most amount of lipstick from last night on. Let's go. Righto, guys. What we have for setting better customer expectations. I'd love to hear from a few people that I haven't heard from today. Maybe some people I don't know that are new to the room. Raise your hand. Craig, what about you? Tell me about setting expectations up front for new customers. You got to tell Lucy. Lucy, thank you.
I just try and sell what we do to our customer, so they understand as a builder, just trying to put it out there for them, so that they can understand the finishes that we're trying to achieve. Communication with the client, see where they're at with it, and try and deliver probably more than they expect at the end of the job.
Okay. So the question then would be around also educating them on all the upsides and the downsides emotionally that the client's about to go on. Would I be fair to say that building a house can sometimes be the most stressful thing known to mankind after dying? Anyone ever build a house where you got a bit perturbed and stressed? All right, there's your focus group right there. So, for me, do you have conversations? Hey, this is when you're going to get annoyed, and this is where you're going to lose interest, and this is where you're going to go to. Do you ever have potentially those conversations?
Try and talk the client through at stages of when they're going to be more excited than others, because obviously as the project grows, there'll be certain clients that want to see more things. So obviously once the frames start going up, for instance, you might be on frames for a week, the client doesn't necessarily get a lot out of that.
All right.
The roof goes on, or the cladding starts going in, or the shooting, we try and talk the client through. I'm very big on bringing them through all the time, so they're heavily involved in what's going on.
Yep.
So there's no nasty surprises and stuff.
Yep, that's good. So, ever had any upsets with building houses for people? Okay. Whether I. Yes, I mean, for me, do you map out the like timeline? How you do that? I'm talking to everyone here, by the way. Do you actually timeline out what potential on people that have got sizable work? Do you give them a time frame, like in a visual timeline? Yeah.
Usually a completion date, but not necessarily always a process along the way. But I would always talk with the client where we're up to and how it's travelling.
Yep. Okay. Do you think that could be a good idea? Righto. Okay, good. Give them a hand, everyone. Well done. So, I think the better job that we can do, and here's another way to think about how well this needs to be done. Normally, I would say the higher the risk of an upset, the higher the need for better expectations. I'll say that again. The higher the risk of an upset along the journey, the higher the need I got to do expectation setting. So to use your example, if I was going to do a $1 million plus house for someone, I'd want to do a heap of expectations of the journey, and these are the problems, and look, and hey, and I'm going to build it across the summer, and then it'll rain, and is you going to do that? But if you're just going to go and do a reno of 40 grand for Mrs. Jones, maybe there's not as many. Well, there could be in that example, but what I'm saying is you just look at the case and go, where's my risk tolerance on upsets? Okay, it's really I would think that's a big point. Okay. What's that? Yes, I have rules of the game on a lot of things in my world. Yes, sir. Just tell Nick. Yep. Yep. So good. So there's that point with James and Andrew there before working against you if it's not known enough that that's been the case. So there's an interesting part. Yes, sir.
I think as well, setting expectation around the hiccup, not just the great delivery when it goes perfectly. I was thinking about our builders and just that thing about these things happen and they're completely normal in a building process, because as soon as it rains and you're behind, suddenly you're having to explain why you're behind when it's a pretty obvious thing. And I think about the way you onboard clients with, you draw a growth curve and you say, don't expect your business to do this.
Yep.
Expect it to kind of do this. So when people feel that perturbation, they're already in that space of not going, this is extraordinary, this is a really normal part of any process.
Very, very good. Who likes that, by the way? Give him a hand. Thank you. And I said it to you too, Craig. How do you position their emotions? Okay, not so much all the logic, right? What's going to happen? Frames do this and house does that. Where I was getting to is what are you doing to position the emotion? Righto, this is what you're going to be feeling at this point. This is the feeling that you'll do. I'm looking at Smithy here with his tourism operation. When you get off the boat, this is how you're going to feel going, is you're giving more on the experience. Okay, how you're going to feel. Okay, good. Everyone, hello? Okay, good. Last one on cash register. Who likes cash register? Isn't it interesting that like 5 simple questions, and you could probably do a whole afternoon on this if we wanted to, yeah? So who'd agree with me? Okay, good. So what we're going to do to finish with is one of my favourites in business, and if we did more of this, Ange, where are you? We potentially don't need to go and stuff around on social media as much, because if we had more of a referral-based business, is it very expensive to do referral? Yes or no? No. Okay. So for me, in terms of your acquisition cost, I'll say that again, what I just say? Acquisition cost, that is how much it costs you to buy a customer, buy a lead. If you don't know that in your business, I'm going to suggest that you're also leaving money on the table. Very easy way. This is a good book here, by the way. Brad Sugar's Buying Customers. Anyone read that in this room? Please raise your hand. Okay, so if you're on marketing and you're thinking that getting new customers and existing ones to come back, this is a really good read. It's in our book list, and it's a good book. So basically, it's like most times the acquisition cost, the cost to be able to buy the customer in a referral is normally zero or very close to it. So in terms of formal and informal, let me give you the description of that. A formal referral system is, hey, there's some form of system. It could be web-based. It could be, a form, a survey situation. It could be, hey, thanks for shopping here. Have this to give to someone else. That's a formal VIP card, etc. That's a very formal kind of way of doing a referral system. Informal is where it's a little bit more ad hoc. So a lot of the time that could be, hey, whilst you're here, I'm going to ask a question, from a verbal place. Does that make sense? Okay, everyone sit up. Seriously, your state's crap. Do something with your back. Take a deep breath in. Okay, shift. Shift on me. Okay, give the person a high five, a hug, and say, nice something. Okay, thank you. So, we're now going to do, I love question 4. Question 4 has got gold dust written all over it. You can even write beside it, gold, dig here. Gold, dig here, next of number 4. If I could not, and use any advertising or prospecting, what would I need just to sell only by referral? So what that's saying, if I said to you, you got to stop all your marketing online, stop all of your, your banners or whatever that looks like in your business, and you could only attract customers through referral only, what would you do? What are you going to build? So it's a hypothetical. I'm not telling you to turn off Google and www. or whatever, but I am asking you to think about, imagine if he did take that away from me, how would I actually go and market my business only by referral? Okay. Everyone grab your piece of paper and a pen. Stand up. Everyone point to the ceiling. You're going to find a new partner. Go. Righto. Hang on. Use the whole room. You're not allowed to sit down. It's going to be 3 minutes each way. How many? Start with A. Go. So you guys, in terms of referral, give us some really good discussions that you had whereby, actual fact, we'll get 2 up to the microphone, 2 up here on referrals. If you didn't already know, I'm now into kind of lead generation, okay, using this strategy. And I always normally start here because this is kind of where the low-hanging fruit is for most businesses. So 2 on either. Colin, up you get. James, thank you. Who else we got? Thanks, Martin. Appreciate you volunteering. Matt, you can jump up too. Colin, what do you got, man? What did you guys speak about?
We spoke about relationship building.
Who are you?
Cole Hammond Catagua Group, and we distribute cattle handling equipment. So Jamie and I spoke relationship building, just getting out there, talking to clients, and just whatever that is, just getting a connection, more rapport.
So you guys kind of focused on the red bit here, yeah? We're sort of more on the informal process, yeah?
Yes, yeah. Yep.
Okay, good. All right, good. Did you speak, who were you with Jamie Milne, were you? No, Jamie. Okay, good. So the only thing I would ask on that is, you know, is there any kind of structure to that rather than sort of just going out and doing a shotgun? Is there what structure do you do, or does Jamie do that you discussed?
Well, I guess my structure is I'm trying to find high-profile people in the industry.
Yep.
And then building relationships through those people.
So that's probably, I don't know, hopefully I'm hearing you right, Colin. In terms, this is probably going to our existing people and saying, who do you know? So I'm good on a networking that's going to give a referral going forward. Where I wanted this is probably more from our existing dudes that we know. How do we do either maybe I didn't set this exercise up right. So if it's me, I'll own it. Put $2 in. Is it a formal or informal to go to my existing dudes I know and who have done business with and having some form of interaction that's going to give me a referral? How do you do it with your cattle business now? Because you've had a huge amount of success. Like, you've doubled or tripled your business or whatever that is?
Yeah.
What is the number? I mean, you're the most BP award for the quiet achiever. If I don't get you up, you won't get up and celebrate it publicly. So how much is your net up year on year? Or 6 months, 6 months? And we did this in the last board. I forget just off the top of my head.
Yeah. No, look, I haven't got the figures top of my head. Sorry, Bruce, but yeah.
It's like about 300%, Vicky.
Roughly 300%.
Yeah, 300% net up. Give him a hand on that. Well done. So you've got a huge amount of referrals from existing clients, etc. So how did that happen? That's not a fluke.
No, but for me, it's more an informal way. You know, I like to deal one-on-one with those guys.
Yep.
I like to be face-to-face with them.
Yep.
And listening to what their problems are and trying to solve those problems.
Okay.
And then over-delivering then on what we do.
Yeah, and you guys are awesome at that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any other points?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, give him a hand. I love it. Well done. Yes, sir.
Hey, Bruce, how you going? Matt Ryan, Caretech and LAS. Colin might have forgotten that he was using a little bit of stardom as well. I know last board he had Gina Reinhardt's, his gear at Gina Reinhardt's farm, and there was a lot of people who went, whoa, and I'm sure in his industry go, holy dooly, you've got who? And there was more.
Yeah.
So he's got some key influences there that are really driving his referrals because people want to talk to those people.
Such a good point. Thank you for reminding me. And also James Packer. Apparently we've
right,
got a
it was
cattle
Packer.
crush down
Yeah.
on his joint too. So
Yeah.
Question, please.
yeah, shoot.
Just for Colin, how do you leverage that? Like if you've got multiple businesses and, obviously Colin's really good at the relationship stuff.
Yep.
It's worked. How do we, in our business, leverage?
So that's a great question, and I'd say it is a problem of anyone that hits critical mass in any business, whether you got one and it just blows up. James behind you there, he hasn't got huge amounts of numbers of business, but his his current business is certainly getting a lot of lift off. So it's leverage. It doesn't matter how many businesses you got, it's when it hits that critical mass. So I want to answer everyone right now. I'm now going to put you into just a quick how to do that, because that's a key point. Can you just hold your... Are you done? Or you had something else? Thanks so much, Matt. I appreciate it, man.
No worries, Bruce, at any time. Love to help.
Can I do timeout? I'm going to come. So, Carolyn, you need to buy like those two a drink tonight. I mean, you don't drink anyhow, so there you go. So no, I don't normally sit people down, and there's a reason for it. It's a really good question of how do you leverage referral. I might be really good at doing it, but then I decide to go and get some team, or I'm going to have it more on a bigger business. The business grows. How can I still keep that referral point rocking? So Matt, James, in all seriousness, sorry that I sat you down, but it's a bloody good point to go through. Round your tables, guys. How do you leverage referral away from a key person or people in your business? Start with the person with the reddest dress on. Okay, this is a really big part of this afternoon, guys. I'll just say that again. Thank you. Come back. So this is a big part of this afternoon. We get this question answered, there's a heap of gold. I'll get 2 people on that, 2 people on that. Emily, I'd like you up, please. Matt, you can come up again if you'd like to. Scott, thank you for coming up. Yes, please, up you come. You can go to that one over there if you like. Chris, over here. Emily, let's go. Yes, sir.
So what I was going to say before was I spoke to Ange, and one of her things was obviously, she has a coffee shop that she's running at the moment, and we own it. And one of the big things was, well, how do we leverage that? And one of the things we came up with was we would use influencers, find an influencer in a group, and then bribe them to bring those people along. So basically what we have is it's a free coffee card. It says, hey, come and grab a free coffee. But what it also says is bring a group of paying customers and keep the card for next time. So our leverage was, it's really hard to get one person to come back, although I'm sure you would. The coffee's great. But to get that person to then bring all their friends back and want to every time. So, influencing them through a bribe, if you like.
Well, okay. For me, so your answer here is you've formalised that, and that's the first thing, and then how to leverage that away from a key person to do that. So assuming that you've got multiple team that are trained then in how to give that. Is that right?
We were basically going out and finding different groups, so a cycling group, and
yes.
Once they'd come in, we'd analyse that and go, okay, these guys, they're a group. Who's
yes.
the influencer in the group?
Who's doing that?
Yeah, Ange and I were.
Okay, so my question is, this all came from Carolyn because she's a stud too. She can do that, but she can't do that on upwards of 9 stores. So my question is, how do you leverage that? Because you'll cap out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your answer?
I think on that, you need to educate. You have to have an education system on that.
Yeah, I agree. Give him a hand. Well done. What do you got, Chris? Who are you?
Hi everyone, I'm Chris from Cut It Out Concrete Soaring Core Drilling. We're based on the Gold Coast. My husband and myself started the business 7 years ago.
Welcome.
Thank you. We are in a growth phase from going from just one operator, being my husband. We had to grow because physically his body can't cope anymore, so it was something we had to do. We put on another operator, and he actually came from the opposition. He actually approached us because he liked the idea of what we were doing. We had he was almost like a bit of a mentor relationship with us, and we'd pass each other jobs if we couldn't fulfil the jobs with our clients. Eventually he approached us, and he actually came on board, Bruce, because he heard we had a business coach and he liked that idea.
Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Didn't know you though. But anyway, he... Anyway, sorry about that.
So Joe, hang on, I'll just speak to your husband for a minute if I could. So Joe, seriously, the amount of homework you guys are going to get at the next session is breathtaking. But keep going.
Dig the hole. So he left the other company because he was managing a team of guys on a certain rate. He wasn't happy with that rate. He asked his boss for a raise and his boss said no, and he's on the same rate as all the other operators. So we basically said, well, we can't pay you that higher rate. We're much smaller than so forth, but we'll match it. However, in 6 months, if you help us grow by going out there, getting us new clients, meaning leverage, because Joe won't be out there as much, we will increase your rate to what you want it to be. Therefore, you're happy,
strategy.
we're happy because we've got more clients, and you're happy because you're earning more money in your back pocket. And that's actually written into the contract.
That is so good. Give her a hand. Well done. Now, the couple of points that I just want to get everyone to write down in that, is that what Chris and Joe have done there is tie an expectation of the business to a reward. Okay, so they got uber clear that, hey, Joe's not going to be out there, so we can't do ask for referral as much because we're not out there. So they've just turned around and said, right, we know how to fix that. And they've had someone that's come along and said, hey, I want more money, or I'm used to having more money. And they said, no problemo. Great, I'm going to set the bar here. Here's an expectation, and here's what's going to happen. Okay, and it turns out that particular person is financially motivated. Is that right, Chris, wherever you are? The answer is? Financial. Now, the question to everyone is, all team members only financially motivated? And the answer is, no, they're not, okay? It could be, it's horses for courses. You don't know that unless you ask that, by the way. And we're going to do more on team in the morning tomorrow. But making sure we get clear on the expectation to the reward. So there's a really good way, Carolyn, on your leverage. This is all from you, by the way. Righto. Who are you?
Scott from Australis Roofing. Most of our stuff is insurance building, insurance builders, insurance companies. I suppose the best thing that I've found is just engaging with them on a personal level. I make sure if I get an email from anyone, I call them back straight away.
Yep.
Talk to them, chat with them. The more that these guys feel they know you on a personal level, or you're their buddy or their mate, the amount of times I've had oh look, this is what the other price is, mate, just beat that, or anything. They love if you can get along with these guys on a good personal level. We've got supervisors that leave that building company and they go to the next and they take you with them, and that's probably our biggest way is just.
So that's awesome. So you're very good at that, and we only did your flipping very recently. So you're also predisposed to making sure you are do that. The question that I just got to you is, in terms of leveraging that to someone else, so that we still have a double amount. What did you guys come up with on your table?
I can't really remember. Too many people.
It was that long ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was that long ago, actually. I'm trying to think. You put me on the spot now.
That's okay. All right. Yeah. So let's give him a hand firstly.
Thank you.
Well done on getting up. So that's the question, guys. How do you leverage it off someone that does a good job of it, right? Whether it be you, whether it be another team member, how do you have that culture across your company? Yes, sir. Who are you?
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan from King IT. I'm one of the managers at the Maroochydore store. Pat's a really good networker. So when I first came on board the business, he used to go around and do, as a referral system for some of our main referrals, people who refer us customers, is all the telco stores, so like Telstra, Optus, Virgin and Vodafone. We would go around to them every quarter or so and basically buy the whole team coffee and just really thank them for the business they send. Obviously, with our expansion of our business and growth in team and new store, Pat can't really keep doing that because of all the busy stuff he's doing. So he was able to leverage me with that. So I went with him for the first few times to the point where I can pretty much do it myself now and go to other places now, like the Good Guys. We've expanded our sort of referral system through JB Hi-Fi and all those sort of stores as well. So that's expanding with those visits too, and to the point where I won't be able to do it all by myself at one point. So, but that's something that we can easily teach to someone else, and they can another store manager in the future or a sales manager can go out and do that as well. But that's been really successful for us because we sort of get heaps of that, and we actually measure those leads as well. So we actually know who needs more thanking or needs an extra shot in their coffee so that they can give us a bit of extra business. But
Do you
it
record
works
that?
well.
You record their coffee?
No, we measure all the leads that they send us. So
No, but when do you know, like when you go to like, do you actually know who drinks what?
Well, we kind of get an idea once we've been there a few times, but we write it all down when we go there, and
That's
we
so
actually
good,
talk
man.
to them and take
That
all
is
the
so
orders
good.
personally. And
Knowing
some
how
people
someone
don't drink
needs a coffee,
which is
that's so
weird,
good.
but they take
I didn't hear that.
Coke.
What do you say?
Some people don't drink coffee, which is weird. Someone doesn't hear. So
Yeah.
but
she started this question, by the way.
Yeah.
but,
Sorry.
Anyway, Ryan, give him a hand, everyone.
Yeah,
Good
thanks,
job.
guys.
So what you just heard there was, hey, I got the business owner doing it. I then went and trained, taught someone how to do networking and strategic alliances, and eventually the team member just standing up there is going to cap out eventually. Did you hear that? Like, I'm going to run out of fuel eventually, so I'm going to have to go and teach that. The only thing I would say, Ryan, is, is that systemized? Is there actually like a video, a tool, some form of processes? This is how we do this area that you could build in your business, Patrick, wherever you are, so that when you cap out, Ryan, you say, no problem, just go and watch this movie. Okay, there's probably, I don't know whether you've watched some of my sales and referrals videos in the back end of our website on that, but I know Patrick's done just about every single one, and his team's done half. Actual fact, just so you know, on Patrick's business, the back end of, I know all the newbies won't, but I've got about 300 videos in the back end of our website. Who knows what I mean on that? Okay, good. Patrick has actually systemized the links out of those to put his own team members through, and he's got a software that actually measures who's watched what and etc. the whole lot, right? So he can do, he's done the whole lot. And I will give some credit here. This guy literally paid, he was an employee 2 years ago. He paid a full year of coaching in advance before he was a business owner. Then opened the first one. He's on his second store now, and he's crunching it, and he'll do over $500,000 this year in under 2 or 3 years of coaching. It's so good, man. I'm proud of you. Righto, madam. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Michelle Crew from Physio Professionals. The lovely lady who posed the question said for me to hop up.
Okay, giving orders too now. I love it.
Andrew and I have probably worked on this leverage play for a while now. We were forced to when we started to have a family. So one system we put in place was identifying the person who would ideally be well trained to buddy up and actually go and do the role that you want them to do. So for example, we did doctor visits, and there was a lot of relationship building with that. So they actually came with me and the buddy system occurred. The key thing we got out of that though is making sure that we got the right person for that role. The other thing was something we need to improve on was the whole reward system on that. We've also now put in place, and this has given Andrew 100% leverage now. We've got another physio doing a lot of in-house training, and they're just eating that role up. We've really picked the right person we feel for that role, and we've got some really ideal target rewards for that. So I think it's not only budding that person up so you can really teach them how you've built the relationship and pass on rather than just let them go and try it and see, especially if you've built the relationship over 10 years, You know, that's something that you really need to pass on well, but also selecting the right person. So those that were here yesterday and did a lot of the flip and stuff, I think that's a key idea to getting the right person for the role rather than trying to put, you know, a round person in a square box.
That is so good. Give her a hand. There's about 10... hopefully your pen, I watched a few people, there was a lot of pen writing here, and the husband is now going to put a bow on it.
The only thing I haven't heard with leveraging referral systems is KPIs and critical drivers. My belief is if you don't have KPIs and critical drivers, you'll never leverage that referral system. So the people that are going out to do lead gen need to know exactly the target and the activities they need to do.
Thank you very much. I love that. Great. So if you don't have it, as just to say it another way, so everyone makes sure that they get it, KPI, key performance indicator, is we've got an outcome, an expectation planted in to this part of the process, and also what are the drivers. So for example, just so that we're clear on that, in their business, they're in the physio world, if the KPI could be the number of inquiries coming into my clinic to get treatment, yeah, that's the KPI. So, 5 a week, and then, all right, well, to do that, we need to go and see 5 doctors a month for that result to happen. Does that make sense, everyone? Yes or no? Okay, good. So have you got that part down? Was Andrew's point. It's a lovely one too.